Doctor Who's beautiful ending wasn't anything like what I expected. Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 8 did what Doctor Who does best, but some fans are bound to be highly disappointed. Sutekh left a grim trail of death and destruction all over the universe, and the Doctor managed to set everything to rights, which should be cause for celebration. However, a season-long mystery ended without fanfare, and another one still hasn't been solved. Is Sutekh gone for good this time? 50 years ago, the fourth Doctor thought he banished Sutekh forever, only for it to turn out that he had an unwelcome stowaway ever since he was using the TARDIS to slowly destroy all life. So why should we believe he's dead this time? The Doctor tied him to the TARDIS for a triumphant journey through time and space, resurrecting everyone he had killed with his deadly dust and then cutting him loose, which should have killed him. Considering his last Hail Mary, that's hard to trust. Sutekh could have latched himself onto someone or something else so he could try again another time. Plus, isn't he the Pantheon's most powerful god? Gods are usually immortal, especially those at the top of the hierarchy. Still, Sutekh is gone for now, and the Doctor's triumphant restoration of life made this epic adventure worth it. The Doctor was at his most doctorly throughout the hour, leaning on his sense of guilt and desire to do the right thing while being determined to stop Sutekh one way or another. The hour began with the tired TV trope of Sutekh killing everyone the Doctor loved. Kate's death speech was one of the most beautiful parts of the hour. But come on, here was no way all those people were staying dead. It was a question of how the Doctor would reverse everything, though I was afraid he might not be able to save everybody. My theory was completely wrong. I thought that since Sutekh began his reign of terror the night the Doctor visited Ruby Road at the same time as Ruby's mother did, he could somehow use time travel to change the timeline so that he would not unwittingly release Sutekh into the universe. Instead, the Doctor made Sutekh blow his death dust on a dead universe, which brought it back to life. It was a triumphant, brilliant moment, even though it doesn't fully make logical sense. Still, it brought everyone back to life, even those who Sutekh had possessed, so I'm not complaining. Despite my fervent belief that all would be restored in the end, Melanie's death and subsequent possession was scary as hell. I was rooting for Melanie to successfully fight Sutekh's attempt to possess her, and I was also glad that the Doctor sent her out of the room before searching for Ruby's birth mother's identity. I suspected he did so to protect Ruby and her birth mother's identity. Still, the Doctor's response to realizing Melanie was dead had me in tears. Less than a minute after she made me jump by showing up looking like Sutekh. Thanks to the bigger special effects budget, all of the deaths were far scarier than on Pyramid of Mars. As great as the original was, the 1970s special effects made Sutekh's original threats seem more silly than scary, and I'm glad this sequel episode rectified that. That dust, especially coupled with the green light, was super creepy, as were all the Sutekh clones wandering around hoping to kill Ruby's birth mother. Ruby's seeming sacrifice was a great plot twist, but what about the resolution of her mystery? I bought that Ruby was giving in to Sutekh until she dropped the screen on the floor, shattering the only proof of her birth mother's identity. That was one of the best plot twists in an episode with many of them. That scene offered a gigantic red herring. When Ruby stared at her mother's name, saying that it made no sense, I thought that it must be something really weird, like a popular fan theory that Ruby was somehow her own mother or was part Time Lord. Instead, it turned out her mother was an ordinary human being, a teenage girl who gave up her baby because she feared her stepfather. I understood what Doctor Who was trying to do here, but I couldn't decide whether it was brilliant or a letdown. The mystery of Ruby's origins has been such a massive part of the season that everyone expected her to be something other than purely human. That was done on purpose to misdirect the audience, but for some fans, I'm sure that the truth was extremely anticlimactic. Doctor Who has always had the core message that every life is important, and the truth about Ruby's mother reinforced that theme. Ruby's mother was a survivor who made the most out of her life after getting pregnant at 15. Maybe having to decide to give her baby up for adoption caused her to take a harder look at her own situation and do what it took to protect herself, too. During Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 7, Ruby wished she could tell her birth mother that she grew up to travel the universe, and now her birth mother's existence helped the Doctor and Ruby to save everybody from Sutekh. That was beautiful, even if it wasn't what anyone expected. Ruby's exit story was well done, but too soon. The final scenes, in which the doctor told Ruby she needed to be with her family now that she'd reconnected with her birth mother, made it clear that the purpose of her meeting the doctor was to find out the truth about herself. Still, I shared her upset when he suggested she shouldn't travel with him anymore. Millie Gibson has done an amazing job bringing Ruby to life. There is so much chemistry between her and Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor. I hate to lose her. Supposedly, she will appear on a recurring basis on Doctor Who Season 2, so the Doctor will make good on his promise to see her. Still, I wish she could still travel with the Doctor and come home occasionally to her family, as previous companions have done. I especially liked her burgeoning friendship with Rose, who was also woefully underused in this episode, and I was hoping to see more of it. Doctor Who left one mystery open. Not telling us who Mrs. Flood really is gives viewers a reason to tune in for the next season. But it's still annoying. I'm still leaning toward her being the Ronnie since she has a cold, heartless streak and had plans for Cherry that were interrupted by the dust of death. Still, that's the only clue we got to her real identity, that and her claim that the Doctor was about to face absolute terror. It's not as frustrating as if Doctor Who abruptly disappeared forever so that we would never get answers, but it's still annoying. Stray thoughts. If Sutekh created Susan, tried to be his angel of death, then how is she a real person with real memories who can now work for UNIT? Did Cherry ever get that cup of tea she's been asking for since Christmas? Did it strike anyone else as weird that the Doctor didn't tell Ruby that the man with the curls was his previous incarnation? He made it sound like both Sarah and the 4th Doctor were companions. Your turn, Doctor Who fanatics. Was the finale as epic as you expected? Were you frustrated by the lack of clarity around Mrs. Flood? What did you think of the truth about who Ruby's parents were? Thanks for watching. Hit the comments and let us know.